Hey everyone, you're tuning in to Book Talk with Kay, the place where we celebrate magic between the covers. To all my dedicated book dragons, welcome back tonight. And tonight we have a special treat. We are diving deep into the craft of writing and voice acting with the incredibly talented Chad. Hey Chad, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you so much. As I was saying before, I appreciate you for bringing me on the show. Number one, thank you for that intro. That makes me feel great. I'm just okay. I'm I'm all right. But no, you make me sound wonderful. So thank you so much for that. Probably one of the best intros I've ever had.
Thank you.
Um, Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. But yeah, like I was talking about before we started recording, you are definitely family with the Butchered authors and with the Terra Monthly folks. And then some of my voice actor friends as well, like the incredibly talented Brandon Davis, so once I saw that those two worlds you were already in, I was like, well, I mean, it totally makes sense for me to come on the show. So I'm like, let's get it. Let's chat.
Yeah, I love that. We love the Butchered Riders, and Brandon was so much fun. And he's doing big things.
He's
He
killing
is
it.
now the App Man. So
Yes, he is seriously killing it. Yeah, no, me and Brandon, we became really close when we worked together on a project called Black Lion and Cubs. So not gonna dive too much into it. I could talk forever, but basically he voices a character named Black Lion in this anime series. So it is a anime and a comic book series that we work on together. And yeah, I was honored to be able to write scripts for him and have him read the words and add his vibrato to it. And we met at a convention in Macon, Georgia. And for the first time, me and my brother came out there. My brother, who also was a writer for Black Lion and Cubs too. And yeah, we just became fast friends. He's such a nice guy. He's a big dude. Like if you ever meet him in person, he's huge. He's a bodybuilder. He's a trainer, but couldn't be more of a teddy bear as a person. He's such a great guy. And we became fast friends, and yeah, we're definitely brothers, man. As far as in the voice acting game too, like we're always one upping each other, always trying to cheer each other on, always tagging each other in each other's posts. So yeah, we're homies. That's my guy.
I love that. You need a good support system.
Oh, for sure, especially in and you know it like I do. The art realm, if you're trying to do anything in like writing, voice acting, any kind of acting, anything in the animation, anything in the creative space, you really do need a support system because number one, the the writing game is incredibly tough. Number one to break
Yeah.
into. And then once you get there, it's competitive as all get out. Like it's really crazy. So, and I guess we'll get into that part of it too. But, yeah, that community, like when I found the Terra Monthly folks, they helped me out. They'll never know how much they, helped me out. And, but yeah, you need it. You need that support system to get to get your head right. Cause I mean, you don't even know. Before I met the guys from Terra Monthly, I, and I was, shopping my stories around. Some of the early ones weren't too great, but I would be shopping myself around and I would get so many letters back like, no, thank you for trying, but no, thank you for submitting. No, 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 no. And I just kept hearing so many no's. And, that can make a person not want to do it anymore. It really can. You
Yeah.
have to, yeah, you got to have a strong constitution when when doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah. DL, who writes with the Butchered Writers, for those who don't know, um, actually helped me get started on my interviews. He was my very first interview,
Wow.
and it's just been part of the family since.
That's awesome. That is awesome. How long you been doing podcast interviews?
Since March, so
Oh
not
wow.
too long, but
Oh wow. Yeah, and like I said, I've seen your stuff. You've been killing it. So great job. I'm super proud of you because I do podcasts as well, and I know it's not easy. So yeah, you're very welcome.
yeah, the podcast unfortunately kind of takes a back seat sometimes, just because life, I guess, and
Oh yeah.
it's pick or choose. And I hate to not do any of the interviews or anything, but it seems like people like the TikTok interviews more than the podcast, unless it seems like the voice actors like the podcast better.
Well, we're kind of vain in that way. We like to talk. No, but no, I mostly because I just don't have a TikTok at all. But yeah, no, I trust me. Either way, even if I had to download a TikTok, I was gonna get on this show. Like I definitely wanted to chat with you. Either way, I've been wanting to do that for a long time. So yeah,
I love that. I'm so glad you're here.
thank
So
you.
tell us what you've got going on soon, like
Yes,
what projects you have.
for sure, for sure. So there is, I guess I could say, the biggest thing that I have going on right now, and it's also what I love is in the horror realm. I'm a huge, horror fan. I'm sure we'll, jump into that. But, yeah, so just to give a little background to it, I am an intern for a comic book company. They are one of the biggest, comic book companies in Atlanta. They're actually called Midnight Comics. The company is run by my good friends Lloyd and Tasha. Really, really cool people. We also met each other in person for the first time at a local convention in Atlanta, and I through some of my work that I've posted online, they got to see like my writing style. And Tasha actually came up to me one day and asked me if I wanted to intern for them because it had nothing really to do with necessarily comic books, but it was for their articles. So they wanted to drum up content for their website. So they hired me and a couple of other people to be content writers for them, which is really cool. I wanted to do that for a while too. And, doing that for a comic book company was just the icing on top of the cake. So
Wow.
so I did that for a while. I'm still doing it. I'm still writing articles for them on their website. But towards the end of the main internship program, they had a thing to where everybody that they hired, they split us up into groups and wanted to do a group comic between everybody. So there's like 3 groups, and I think it's about 6 of us in each group. And everybody was assigned a theme. The theme was like a horror or a thriller theme. And all of us basically, other than the theme, got to pick, what we wanted to do it about. It could be about anything. And all of us chose different aspects of horror and different subgenres of horror to write about for our comics. And we're actually done with the comics and we're putting them out there now, all 3 of the groups. We're putting them out there for people to see and for people to support the release. And my comic in particular is called Into the Abyss. So it is me and 4 other guys that I'm working with right now. And, we're putting it out there on Kickstarter right now for everybody to support. And definitely, I'll have the link out there for everybody that wants to read the comic. And basically, just to kind of explain what our comic is about, it is a neo detective noir story, basically, that takes place in the heart of Atlanta. I did that because that's where I'm from. And it follows a lead detective. Her name is Valerie Jekyll. And Valerie is a decorated detective. She's one of the best in Atlanta. And she has partners, Greg Donaldson and Detective Ramirez. And basically, those are her partners that help her solve all of her cases. Well, eventually, things have become very easy for these three. They're able to solve anything. They're able to find any little inconsistency to catch their guy, whether it's a DNA sample or a piece of clothing. They're able to figure it out. Well, lately there have been a large number of murders popping up around Atlanta. And this guy or woman has become so infamous that they have been given the name the Autumn Strangler. And these detectives are dumbfounded. They're having the hardest time figuring out what is going on. How is this person able to commit all these murders seemingly overnight at the same time? Like, they're all over the place. And the one thing that makes it hard for them to figure out who it is the fact that they are so clean. They're so precise. They're technical. There's nothing left over in the crime scenes. There's no piece of clothing. There's no DNA. And it's killing these guys. They don't know what they're doing. And on top of this killer knows that they're after them. They drop little hints and little messages to let them know, hey, I know you're on my tail, and I know you're looking for me, and you'll never find me. And that is Into the Abyss. And that's the issue, and that's what they're trying to figure out, who this Autumn Strangler is. And the story on its face does seem like it's pretty, it seems like it's like, okay, well, I've watched Law and Order. I know what detective stories are. I've seen, all kinds of stuff dealing with police procedurals and all that. Yeah, but there's no way in the world you could figure out where we're going to go with this story. It has a lot of twists and turns and dips and dives. And the twist is something that we're pretty sure nobody's going to see coming. And we're pretty excited about it.
Well, it sounds amazing. I saw some of the art for it on your Instagram, and it seems so like it's going to be blow up when it comes out. Like, I hope it happens.
Thank you. Yeah, that is those are my guys. That's my boy Josh, Brandon, and the cover was done by Ronnie. Those are some really, really, really talented guys, and honored to work with those guys. They, I haven't seen ever a team that has been so seamless. I say, like, because we've been doing interviews and stuff, and the one thing we keep saying is that it's pretty cool that you can't really tell where one person's contribution stops and another person's begins. Like, that's something you don't really see too often in these spaces. For one reason or another, you have people that might be a little big-headed about it, or you have people that might clash because their ideas are on, different spectrums. They're just like, we're not on the same page. But with me and the guys, when we were trying to figure out what the story was and, where we would go with it, when we came up with the idea, everybody was just like on board. We came up with the setting. We came up with the incident that would happen. And from there, specifically Brandon, he just jumped on it and he was like, "Oh yeah, I know what Valerie looks like. Yeah, let's do that." Or I know what Donaldson looks like, and let's do it here. And then he had the different designs of the characters. And even though he's a fantastic comic book artist and manga artist in his own right, the selflessness of what his contribution and being able to create multiple designs and ask us which one that we thought was the best. That's just an example of like how just gracious everybody was, and making sure that before any step was taken, we were all completely on the same page. Like, so it was, yeah, those guys, the artwork is, all of them. I'm just excited and honored. I'm a fan of everybody I'm working with. So
That makes work amazing.
yeah.
Is the cover the one with the three of them on it, or is it the one where it's a close up of her face?
Yeah. So the cover is the one with all three of them standing there. Like it looks like a TV show or whatever. Yeah. It's like, yep, that's it, with all three of them standing there. Yeah. That was Ronnie, who was a fantastic, comic book owner, creator, comic book company owner in his own right. He's amazing too. And, yeah, he did a truly kick-ass cover for sure. He was awesome.
So I noticed that you have a Mothman comic skit or something. I'm from West Virginia, so the Mothman's like right up the road.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yep. So yeah, Mothman. So that was pretty cool. I didn't see that coming at all. So, yeah, Mothman was a short film that I got to work on that premiered on Halloween. I've been working on Mothman for about a year, basically. So this is a good teachable moment for all of our viewers and listeners out there that that want to get into voiceover. So there is a website called castingcall.club. And again, that's castingcall.club. And if you're a person that wants to get into voiceover and you don't really know where to start, that's a great place. So what you basically do, you create your own account and you go into the website and kind of tinker around with it and look for different types of voiceover projects to do. Some are paid, some aren't. Some are fan projects and some are original projects. And it's just a great place to hone your skills. And I'll be honest, make some good money. So that leads into, Mothmart. So the project was called Mothmart. And essentially it's about a boy that he's working late night in a little dollar store, grocery store type thing, similar to like what is it, like a
Foodland here.
Yeah, right, exactly, like a little Whole Foods or something like that. And basically he's visited by a monster, by the Mothman. And the cartoon pretty much shows what ensues when this crazy bumbling idiot of a monster is bothering this young man. and it's a horror comedy. It's pretty funny. And the way I got that was there was a posting on castingcall.club. And it was this, it's actually a student film, I'll be honest with you. And this animator, he was looking for, because there's only one voice in the project. The little boy that's a store clerk, he does like a pantomime. He's he just kind of reacts to what the Mothman is doing. So they needed a character to play Mothman, and they were really specific. They were like, well, we want kind of a not realistic, but a cartoonishly Southern older man kind of voice, and I applied for it, and I was very shocked when I got the role because there were about 60.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there were about 60 other guys that applied for it, and it was just one of those things. So when you're a voice actor, or if you're doing anything where you have to audition, you pretty much get used to the practice of like set it and forget it. You know what I mean? Like you never want to get too attached to a character when you haven't booked it, right? Because I've done that. I've been like, oh, I'll be so perfect for this character, and
Yeah.
I'm fantasizing about it. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be so cool when I record this character, and I don't get it, and I don't get the part. So for Mothman, I was super jazzed. I was like, if I get this will be so cool because I love the design, I love everything. But I did the whole set it and forget it thing. I recorded it, didn't even pay attention to it. And one day I get an email and they're like, hey, we love your rendition of the character. When can you get started? and it was just so awesome that I got to do it, and I was there for the whole animation process, and those guys that I worked with, they're so super talented. And it just came out for Halloween, and it's doing really well. A lot of people are enjoying it. And again, it's horror, but it's mostly like for the family. It's a horror comedy. So it's just like, it's not really inherently scary. It takes the Mothman mythos and kind of plays with it a little bit. And it's super fun. I had a good time recording it. It's some of the most fun I've had in a while, recording a voiceover. And mostly, and I'll be honest, it's one of the only times I really got to put on a voice. Because believe it or not, most of the projects that I do, I'm basically doing like some kind of variation of my own voice. So whether I'm talking regularly or speaking in a little bit of a lower register or maybe a little bit of a higher register, maybe I might sound a little more serious or a little more flamboyant, but at the same time, I'm mostly just using my own voice. So to kind of put on that Southern fake, I am from the South and I do have a bit of an accent, but to put on like the cartoonish, like almost foghorn leghorn type thing,
Yeah.
it was really fun. It was fun and refreshing because I never get the chance to do it. I'm always kind of just doing my own voice. So yeah.
Well, the art's amazing. It kind of reminds me of Bob's Burgers or something.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yep, exactly. No, it's really cool. And I wish they would release kind of like a behind the scenes sort of thing, because to see all the palettes and it was so much layering in that animation. And I love, don't get me wrong, I do love the Pixar stuff, the 3D computer animations, but man, you just cannot beat that 2D old school animation. You just can't. It's very pretty to see how they put that together. And yeah, that process, they did use the old school animation style, and like you said, it is reminiscent to like the Bob's Burgers, and it's super cool. So it was a great experience, and I'm honored to have. I just think that's so cool, just to have I still haven't gotten over that. I've been doing voice acting going on, I think, about 3 years now. And I'm always so floored that somebody is animating a character around my voice. Like, that's, I think that's like the highest honor that, for somebody to do, because it's truly painstaking work. And for somebody to do that, I'm always so grateful for it. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's something that if you have children, they can watch one day and be like, yeah, my dad was on a cartoon. That's cool.
Yeah, I always joke with Sinclair, my girlfriend, that when we have children, they're gonna think that dad's lame. They're gonna be like, oh, And like, yeah, he does silly voices and writes horror, whatever. I don't care. I'm just like, oh, him, he does silly voices and plays with toys, whatever.
My daughter loves that I do the interviews and because she loves books. And
That's
me
cool.
and my best friend just went to a fantasy ball over the weekend. And my
Ooh.
husband's like, oh, that's a nerd ball. I ain't going to that. And it's like, fine, we'll have a girls' day. But Lily gets so excited, but she gets so mad because she can't go. Like, well,
Uh-huh.
one day.
No, exactly. And that's cool. That's so awesome. What does she have any specific type of books that you've noticed that she gravitates towards?
Fantasy. Um,
Nice.
but she likes a little bit of thriller too. I think when she gets a little bit, because she's only 14 right now, so when she gets a little bit older, she'll probably go more to the dark, but she likes anything spooky.
Oh, awesome. Yep, that was definitely me growing up. All of the Goosebumps books and stuff. Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
Me
Yep.
too. Are you afraid of the dark? We never missed it.
Yes. Are You Afraid of the Dark is I rewatched some of those today. Like so that actually, I'll be honest, like my favorite form. I was actually talking to Sarah not too long ago, because we want to do a book together. We've been chatting about that. And we were just, talking generally about, like light novels and books and stuff. And, basically just about, the type of, writing that we like to do. And she's that girl. She's definitely the splatterpunk queen.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the girl right there, man. Love me some Sarah, and super excited to get to work with her in any capacity. So that's going to be great. But for me, that will pretty much be like my first ever even crack at writing a novella or a light novel or anything like that, because and it's not necessarily because of the um because I've tried it and failed or whatever, or just because I'm scared of it. Truly, I love the form of short form storytelling. I love short horror. And that's because of me growing up on things like Are You Afraid of the Dark, Goosebumps. I tell people all the time, Twilight Zone is my point of reference. Like, that's my favorite show of all time. Authors like Shirley Jackson and Charles Beaumont, like, and Richard Matheson, like these guys are my heroes, like, and they're, known for their, short form stories. So like, that's truly what I love to write. And that's why, I'm in, groups like the Butchered Writers. Like, that's my, my love language as far as like, artistically. I just love the art form. There's nothing better to me than a really well made short horror story. I love it.
Hmm. Yeah, the quality of work that the Butchered Writers puts out, it never ceases to amaze me because they do it all, and it's so well put together.
Hmm.
They deserve all the hype because it seriously never stops blowing my mind. They're amazing.
No, for sure. They're the best. They're great. Like, I mean, down to just the cohesiveness of the stories, like even the artwork. I mean, just because people don't realize how hard it is to curate a book. You know what I mean? To curate an anthology is not an easy task, and to have a book that flows well, um, and like I said, talking about Sarah again, she's just the bomb. Like, she is. I tell people all the time, like, if I didn't have, a editor, I would be nothing. And I'm always talking about Sarah. Like, Sarah's like she saves me so many times. Like, she makes me look amazing. So if anybody, loves the way my stories flow and all that kind of stuff, thank Sarah, because Sarah be doing the thing. She does the things. So, but no, everybody from Terror Monthly and the Butchered Writers, they're so amazing. And again, another group of people that I'm fans of all of them. And I've learned so much, honestly, from joining those guys. And like, I think I was telling Sarah, like, when I first started, that it was harder for me to just want to write more, as far as like, because my early stories, I think, were like maybe 150 words. Like, I just turned in a story, one of my most recent stories that I've written, that's out now, called through Rustling Willows, the Spider-Man Comes. Like, that story is over 2 words, and I never thought, I was going to get there. So, I'm definitely learning more, becoming a more, definitely a more competent writer, and a more comfortable writer. And those guys, they're, like I said, once again, a group full of horror writers, but they couldn't be more sweet and more kind and, just open to, reading my stuff and helping me out. So yeah, no, they're great. They definitely deserve all the hype. And we do have all the hype, because we are all award nominated authors. So I'm just going to put that out there too. So, so no, but those are my guys, man. Those are my guys.
Yeah, I've never met a group that shows up like you guys do. I met Danny one time on TikTok, and they never miss a live if they can help it. They're
See?
always there. They always show up.
Super duper supportive. Super nice people, man. Yeah.
They even donated a book for, like, we had a big Halloween event on TikTok, Book Talk with Kay did, and they donated a book for it. So that's just how awesome they are.
Nah, they are. It's just really cool. And again, like I said, it was really just by chance that I found them, because, so again, another teachable moment for all of, for writers that want to get themselves out there and don't really know where to start. You're just kind of like, what do I do? So if you go on different social media platforms, Instagram is okay. I'm not really sure about TikTok. However, if you're a horror writer, specifically, wanting to do horror stories, or even if you're a science fiction writer, and you want to, put your stuff out there and get yourself into some collection or like an anthology, the best thing to do is Facebook groups. Facebook groups is amazing for that, because there are Facebook groups specifically for people that want to submit their stories. And that is how I found Terror Monthly, who at the time was Horror Weekly. And then they changed into Terror Monthly when they did some changing of the guard, because there was another person that kind of ran the organization at the time. So yeah, at that time I was going through so many Facebook groups, just submitting my stuff over and over and over again, getting a bunch of rejection letters. Now, I'm not going to say that there wasn't any wins. I did. One of my first yeses was, this group. It was, Phoenix Z Publishing. They, published one of my, stories. Funnily enough, my actual first book, this is a little Chad trivia. So the first book that actually came out that my collection was in, was actually it was an erotica, actually. So,
wow.
yeah, so my first actual horror publication was in a horror erotica. And it's funny because, I didn't even realize it was an erotica, at first, until I saw the title. It was called The Erogenous Zone. I'm like, oh, okay. And it is really, really, really cool, man. This, wonderful, curator, author, amazing author in her own right. Her name is Candace. She's super duper amazing and took a chance on me and put my work out there. And I still work with her to this day. She is awesome. She has a lot of great work out there too, but that's just one of the things that she does is she has her erotica, the erogenous zone, and that was actually erogenous zone 3. There's 2 more out there, but it's a beautiful book, really, filled with so many, really it's mostly like love stories, honestly, because the first story I ever submitted, I've submitted it to Terra Monthly as well. I think Terra Monthly published it too. It's a horror love story called, The Legend of the Webcam Killer. And it's basically about, these group of friends. They go on a trip every single year up to the mountains in Yosemite. And, basically they have a party to kind of wind down after, a crazy semester, and they all love horror. So they, drink, they have fun, they play games, but the biggest draw of when they hang out is at night, they all kind of like, in the show we were just talking about, they, gather around a fire and they trade horror stories with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And on this particular night, one of the main characters of my story, he tells a tale about these 2 best friends and a girl that comes between them. And a lot of craziness kind of unfolds after that. And that's basically the story that I submitted. And that was my first ever story that got published, with, Candace and, with Terra Monthly. So yeah.
Well, that's exciting. What started your love for writing?
My love for writing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So as far as, my love for writing, I think what started it was just my love for story. I always joke that when I was younger, the only good thing that was on my, progress report, like when I was in elementary school, was that they would say, Chad, yeah, he's, kind of behind in math. He talks too much in class. He needs help with his spelling, but he really, really enjoys story time. Right? That was, one of the only good things on my progress report. And it was true. I was thinking about this the other day. And I was thinking about the first ever story that really turned me on to, the idea of a twist ending.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate this because I'm blanking on the name. You might know this. It's a children's book. And it's about a teacher that gets mistreated by her class. She's blonde and she gets mistreated by her class. And then one day the students notice that she's not there. And then they see a substitute teacher and she looks kind of like a witch. She's got like, long frazzled hair, a bumpy nose, and she just looks mean and she wears all black. And she like literally kind of tortures the kids in a way. She makes them read when they don't want to. She tortures them, but in like a childlike kind of way. And basically at the end of the book, you realize that the witch was actually their actual teacher in disguise. And do you know the name of the book I'm talking about?
I don't, but I do know, like, I've heard it and I've read it, but I don't remember the name.
Yes, I am blanking on that name. It's like something, one of our listeners will know, but yeah, that's one of the books that kind of, turned me on to like, it had such an effect on me. And I was just like, it kind of introduced me to kind of like, I guess you could say pseudo, horror in a way, because even to this day it sticks to me. I was actually about to buy that book a couple weeks ago, but yeah, so that is one of the things that just turned me on to loving words and Um, and just plots and setting and all of that good stuff. But as far as like, comics and writing, I mean, I've been writing my own little comics and stuff since I was a little kid, but it's generally always been something like in the realm of being a fan. you know
Mhm.
um I never really once thought, oh, I can do this and make money from it. Like, or I can, put this out and share it with, the world. It is never really, I've always kind of been comfortable being a fan. But there was a couple of people in my life that really pushed me out there. One of those being one of my best friends, and who's also a fantastic writer and director in his own right. Marcus Long. Like me and Marcus used to work in a grocery store together while we were both in college, and we would just instead of actually doing work, we would just sit around and come up with these plots and tell each other stories and all this kind of stuff. And at the time, funnily enough, I wasn't even a huge I was adjacent to like being a fan of comic books, but I wasn't really in the know like that. Marcus was another one of those guys that really got me into like Marvel and DC and all of these like kind of, worlds of comic books before I met him, before I knew him, I was just kind of like on the outside. I never really found my niche like in that area, but he would tell me like while we were, just trying to come up with stuff to, talk about. He'd be like, man, you should put some of this on paper, man. Like you can, like he always used to tell me, and before I started doing it, he was like, man, you're a writer and you just don't know it. Like you are a bona fide writer. You need to put this down on paper. And I'd always be like, nah, man, get out of here. I'm not doing that. I'm not. But what really made me do it and cross that line was when, I was talking to my mom, and she was just like, man, you don't need to, wait on, whatever to get yourself out there. You don't need this perfect storm to, put yourself out there as a writer. If you're writing something and you like it, put it out. Who cares if it sucks? Just try it and see what happens. And, yeah, and that's what pretty much got me, into writing. And, the more and more I did it, the more I fell in love with the idea of putting my work out there, not just as a fan, but putting it out there to be viewed and to be, read by someone. So that all of that culminated into, me doing what I'm doing today.
Love that. Miss Nelson is Missing. That's the name of that book, I think, by James
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes. Thank you. You're amazing. That was going to kill me for the rest of the podcast.
Me too. I had to look it up because I was like, what is that? I could picture the substitute perfectly, but I could not.
Yes, that was going to kill me. And actually, funnily enough, what made me think about it is, they're actually talking about doing a movie with, Melissa McCarthy.
Oh my gosh, she would be so good.
She's gonna kill it. I hope they do make that film. But yes, I remember like when I remember looking at the last page of that book. I remember it. And and let me just say, not even for a children's book, like that's such a brilliant twist. Like it really is, because they don't actually say it. Like in the end of the book, like they want you to find it. You know what I'm saying? They're like, they don't say, and Miss Nelson was her the whole time. Like they just show the clothes and the makeup on the desk, and you're just like, oh snap! And she's doing like a little coy smile. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, that is such a brilliant twist. And something again, and as you can see, it had an effect on me. And if you know anything about my work, like the guys from Terra Monthly, Chad loves a twist. Everything I do is going to have some form of a twist in it somewhere. So, yeah, man.
So, being with Terra Monthly, do you narrate your own work or their work? Do you get to do
Oh
that?
yeah. So as far as narration, I haven't. I not to say that I won't. So I know that they're doing creepy quickies, which is really cool because I've actually submitted one, and I'm going to have somebody from there read it. Um, but as for narrating, I haven't. Funnily enough, it just never really. It's kind of like the thing to where you don't think about it if it's yours. You know what I'm saying? Like I never really thought about, and it's weird because I do voiceover. So you would think the next logical step is to narrate your own work, but it just doesn't cross my mind even to narrate theirs. Cause like I said, it's mine. It's Terra Monthly. It's ours. It's our stuff. So it's like, but if somebody else outside was like, "Hey, I'm doing horror," I'll be like, "Oh yeah, let me narrate that." But my own stuff, I don't even want to do it. It's not that I don't want to. I just haven't thought about it yet. I probably will if we continue doing the creepy quickies. And for anybody that doesn't know, on our website, we have different forums to where we actually just got done doing a 30-day challenge where we would submit a free story every day on our website, and it's still for the month of October, and they're still on our website right now. And we also just generally put short, even shorter form, like bite-sized horror on our website. And we have these things called creepy quickies where an author will read somebody else's or either their own horror story that they posted on the website. And I have one that hasn't been published yet, but I really love it. It's called Just a Quick Nap. And I can't wait to hear who's going to narrate that. But yeah, in the future, yeah, I would totally love to narrate either mine or somebody's story. Funnily enough, I'll have to put it back out there because the website it was on got deleted. But Brandon, the guy you had on the podcast, he's actually narrated one of my stories before. So
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yep. Yeah, I have a story. Yeah, he narrated the one we were talking about. The Legend of the Webcam Killer. He actually narrated that, and he did one more. He did The Legend of the Webcam Killer, and he did one of my other favorite stories called Between Monsters and Men. So yeah, he's that guy. So
Very talented.
Extremely.
Now I got sidetracked.
I can do that. My bad. I'm in a million different directions at once.
What is the next issue of Terra Monthly? Well, it's not Terra Monthly now. The Butchered Riders.
Or the Butcher Riders. Yeah. So the next one we have coming out is it's the Deep Web. So we have a Deep Web issue coming out, and it's really cool. It's a bunch of us kind of doing our take on Deep Web stories. I know my brother has a really cool story in there. I won't spoil it for him, but it's super funny and super scary for sure. Given that if you were in that situation, yeah, you would be terrified. But mine, I kind of did a little wink and a nod. Like mine isn't necessarily a quote unquote deep web story, but the story is dealing with webs of a certain kind because it's about a spider. So the story that I submitted, that's already out in different platforms, but as far as for butchered authors, it is Sarah's still putting all that together. But the story is called Through Rustling Willows, the Spider-Man Comes. And basically it is a period piece It's a story that takes place in the Deep South. It takes place in Sylvester, Georgia, where my dad is actually from. And it takes place from the 1930s to the 1950s, so very much in Jim Crow South. And it's about a family. So it's about two kids and their mom. So it follows Kofi, his twin sister Kimmy, and their mom Tess. Tess is a medicine woman who has taken a lot of spiritual family trauma, from her ancestors, and has brought it to her family, both knowingly and unknowingly. Because as you can see when you read it, there's a tension there, and there's a sort of haunting that goes on within this family. And the take home for that story is basically just tradition, basically. And I'm trying to talk about it and not give too much of it away, but it definitely follows the Southern Gothic and African folklore storytelling in the way that it does have a sort of take-home message that, what's the best way to put it? It's like a cautionary tale, basically, and it talks about what can happen when you don't follow tradition or stray away from your family values, and what could happen in these types of situations, both if you want to do it or if you don't want to do it. So it's a very, I would say, gory story. I've taken that from Sarah. She's definitely made me want to write more things that have blood dripping and people getting slashed in half and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a pretty cool story, and I can't wait for all of our viewers and listeners and all of that to get a chance to read it. And even yourself, I would and if you want, I can actually send you a copy of it after we get off of the podcast. I'd love for you to read it.
Thanks. I'd love that.
Awesome. But yep. And all the folks from Terra Monthly, I'm not Terra Monthly, but the Butcher Writers, they love it. So yeah, I just can't wait for it to, get as many eyes on it as possible.
The next issue should be like what, February or March?
Yeah, it just really depends. I don't know what what our timetable is for that, because I know a lot of our stories, I think Joshua, my brother, just turned his in not too long ago. So I think the timetable for that should be in January.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
We'll have to have you guys on.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I would love to have like a round table with all those guys. Like, yeah, it's definitely gonna be a blast just chatting as far as like horror. And are you big on horror yourself?
I have to be in the mood for it. Like, it's not something that I am in all the time. I have to be in the mood for it.
I definitely understand that. Yeah, it's definitely, and it really depends on the type of horror that you watch too. Because some things I'm mostly in the psychological thriller realm. That's where I hang out at. Like that's what I like. I can do, now I watch things like, the old school slashers, like, your Freddy Kruegers, your Jasons, your, the Halloween movies, your Michael Myers, stuff like that. It's just not my jam. I watch it because it's, you got to watch it. But, no, my favorites are always going to be psychological thrillers. Some of them aren't even necessarily horror. Like, I don't know if you've seen Game with Michael Douglas. Like, that's one of my favorite
I don't think
psychological
so.
thrillers. Oh, you have to watch it. So it's with Michael Douglas and Sean Penn plays his brother. It's called The Game. And that movie, you won't know what's real or fake. It's one of the it's gotta be one of the best psychological thrillers of all time, at least top 10. It's such a good movie. And it's really for a general audience. It's not inherently horror. It does have like horror like edges, it's kind of like a thriller in a way, but it's definitely like a crazy story. It really is. So I would suggest to anybody out there, if you haven't watched The Game, even if you're not a straight up and down horror fan, The Game with Michael Douglas is just a good movie. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, I like Michael Douglas
Oh,
and Sean Penn. So
oh yeah, two of my favorite actors of all time for sure.
I like Campfire Tales.
Okay, yeah, same. I do like that too. Kind of like the scary stories to tell in the dark kind of thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
There was one I watched when I was a teenager, and it was about a girl staying home alone. And I don't know if it was Halloween or if it was just spooky. I don't know. But either way, uh, she kept hearing noises, and you, like, knew somebody was in the house. And she had a golden retriever that would always, like, lick her hand before bed.
Uh-huh.
Like, and when she went to bed that night, the person that broke into her house was under her bed and wrote on her mirror that people can lick too. And I have been scarred. There's not a foot that goes off my bed.
Uh-huh. Yep. I'm telling you, like, look, you think you're so big and bad, you're like, oh, I'm an adult, I'm good, this isn't, but I guarantee to this day, I know it's fake. I know the actual actor, and there's no way in the world am I gonna stand in the bathroom with the lights off, look in the mirror and say Candyman 5 times,
Nope. Or
there's no
Bloody
way.
Mary. No
Oh,
way.
no, there's no, I know. No, 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 no. And I know that these are stories and movies, but you can't, it had such and that's just the mark of, honestly, like, um, good writing. Like, if I could, I mean, I'm always a very realistic person, when it comes to certain things, but that would be such a dream, if I could write something so profound that long after I'm gone, it still has an effect on people. It's still like that children's book we were just talking about, like how I read that story when I was, in the second or third grade, or I had that story, read to me during story time. And as a 32-year-old man, that last panel of that book still sends a little chill up my spine. It's like, wow. Or with, Candyman, rest in peace, Tony Todd, his performance, is still resonant with generations today. I often think, for me, you know, horror literature and just horror as a genre is just like one of the most like amazing, just breathtaking genres, like of beat it, honestly. Like, I mean, comedy is great, you know, romance is great, but I mean, like a well told like horror story. Cause for me, horror, it just, it encapsulates all of those things. Like, it can be all of those, and if done well, like a Jordan Peele film, it can make you feel all of those emotions at the same time, So yeah, I love horror so much. It's such a passion of mine, and I'm very thankful that through forums like Midnight Comics, or, the Butchered authors, that I'm able to, share my stories, And like I said, I'm realistic, but if any of my stories affected one or two people, whatever, that would make my life. Like I would, that's it. That's all I need.
Love that. And I'm sure you have tons of people that you're reaching that you do, and you just don't realize it as much.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thought. It really is. That's nice to think about. I would hope so, again, like I tell, people whenever I'm doing these interviews or things like that, I don't necessarily, if it comes up, if there's something that I only have like really one story that I've written where it was, driven by a message that I wanted to say, but, or what, even that story, not so much, I'm not really the kind of guy that's like, ooh, I have to tell you my doctrine and my work. It's not, no, I just like to, I like cool stuff. You know what I'm saying? I write the stuff that scares me, like, letting down my family or, mistreating somebody or having something horrible befall somebody that I loved because I wasn't paying attention. All of these things, if you read my stories, all of them are heavily family centered because that's where my heart is. I love my family, and the most horrible thing to me would be if, because of something that I overlooked, somebody in my family or my siblings got hurt or, whatever because of that. And yeah, it's just the types of stories that I tell, and if it resonates with anybody, that will be the bee's knees. I don't make it with that purpose, but I think it's cool if it happens,
Yeah. So do you have any book events or, well, any events, I guess, coming up?
That's a great question. So I don't necessarily have any book events. However, the Kickstarter for Into the Abyss, which is the Midnight Comics showcase, that is still going on. And my guys and we have a lot of interviews coming up over the next 20 days because we still have about 20 days to go in the Kickstarter. So our goal is to raise $2,000 for the production of our book. And as of now, I think during this conversation, we're over halfway there. We've raised about, I want to say $1,197, I want to say, as of now. And
that's amazing.
Thank you so much. And yeah, we have 20 more days to go. So over that time, because you were my first interview for the week, I want to say I have 2 interviews on Sunday with some more book lovers such as yourself. And yeah, so I would just tell all of the viewers and listeners out there to, number one, when you post the stuff out there, definitely give me a follow on my socials. I'll be posting a lot of stuff with my co-authors and co-illustrators. So please, those guys are amazing too. Definitely give them a follow, and just, look out for the other interviews that I'll be doing, as well as this one, this amazing interview. Please listen to this. And if you're listening to this, right now, check out some of the other interviews on my page that at the time probably will be out. And yeah, guys, definitely please support the release. Anything will be great. So how it works also, I didn't really explain that. So the way you can support us is if you go to the Kickstarter, you can donate anything really, starting with $1. It can be just $1 donation. That is perfect. Or you can purchase a physical copy of our book. It comes with a poster. It's pretty cool. And you can also get the digital copy. There are keep in mind, there's not just us. There are actually other thriller stories that are on the Midnight Comics Showcase as well. So please, support their releases too. You can purchase their books. We actually have bundles of all three of our books together. Or you can just share these posts and all of these pictures and all of our interviews that are on social media. Sharing helps just as much. So yeah, guys, definitely check us out, and I would so appreciate it if you supported the release.
Yeah, I'll definitely share it out. Do you want to tell everybody where to find you on social media?
So this is the part of the podcast that I always love, because that's when I start to really dislike the ridiculously long Instagram name that I have chosen to give myself. So you can find me on my social media, which would be number one, my Twitter, actually. So I have a easy Twitter. It's my name is Chad_MPH. So like miles per hour, MPH, but it actually stands for Masters in Public Health, because when I created it, I had my master's at the time. So as you can tell, I'm very vain. I like to name my social media off of my accomplishments.
That's amazing, though. It's so much work. I'm proud of you, because
Well, thank you.
I only have my associates, so.
No, which is also amazing, because I rep all the time. I have two of them. I have one in biology and one in chemistry. So I love that. That's part of the reason when I tell people I have 5 degrees. Oh, those are being counted for sure. So,
yeah.
And what is your associates in?
Teacher education.
See, and now you are a kick-ass teacher. So education is awesome, guys. But yeah, so you can catch me there on my Twitter at Chad_MPH. I need to actually do a lot more posting on there. I do share mostly my voiceover stuff on there, but I will share a lot of my writings there too. But the place where I share most of my writing, voiceover, science stuff, etc., is my Instagram, and that Instagram is doctoral_candidate_Chad. Again, that is doctoral_candidate_Chad. And yeah, guys, there is where you can catch everything from my releases with the Terror Monthly guys to my release with Midnight Comics and all of my other comic book work, because I'm also a comic book writer for Black Lion and Cubs, which is a fantastic anime and manga property that, a lot of great people that have also been on this podcast I've worked for. There's a lot of good stuff coming out with that. My brother just released a comic book with them called Super Awesome. So just, follow those guys. They're wonderful as well. And also I do have a podcast. So I have a podcast that I host or co-host with, my good friends, Marcus, who I talked about on the podcast, another one of my good friends, and also an awesome educator, Demetrius. He is a co-host as well. And my, brother Joshua, he's a co-host, and we all sit around and talk about, anime, manga, video games, mostly Star Wars, because Demetrius and Marcus love Star Wars. We just have a good time, guys. And that podcast is called the Square Round Table Podcast. And you can follow us on social media. You can also follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube, where you can actually watch our podcast and see us talk about all kind of cool stuff. So that is all I can think about right now. So yeah, if there's anything else that was left out, whoops. But those are all the places that you can find me. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. And yeah, thank you so much for having me, Miss Kayla.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I appreciate you coming on. I know it's late and you got off work, and it was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Oh no, this is yeah, no, this is great. I've been looking forward to this for a while. I know we've, mostly on my side, have had scheduling conflicts because I don't know what I'm doing at any point of the time, at any point of the day, and I just get dragged in 13 million places. However, I appreciate you for being just so understanding and so flexible. And and I've been looking forward to this for literal months because I think we first spoke literally a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this has been everything that I thought it would be and more. So thanks again for having me, and I'll come back whenever you want.
I love that. Thank you so much. When you get stuff going and you want to promote it, just holler at us and we'd love to help you out. Hear whatever you got going on.
Not a problem. I will definitely. So this is I want you to, just acknowledge in front of me, you, and all of our listeners that this is permission to recklessly blow up your DMs with promotions about me.
100%. Yes.
Okay. Now that we got that covered, I will start that now. Thank you. You heard it, guys. You heard it. You heard it here first.
Especially the Kickstarter.
Yes, especially the Kickstarter. That is the first thing I will be putting in your DM. So yes, definitely.
Well, I will let you go. Seriously, thank you. It's been wonderful. You seem like an amazing person. It was a lot of fun.
Oh man, well again, thank you so much. And the same to you. I always say it goes both ways. You facilitated a great podcast for me to feel comfortable in this space, for me to act crazy as I have been. And, no, you're amazing too. And, thank you so much for having me, and you have a blessed night. Okay.
You too. Thanks.
All right. You're welcome. All right. Bye.